How you doing, Barry?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. Listen, I want to thank you, both of you, for being on here today. But I just want you to see, do you want to work hard, pay your loan down by $5,200? Do you want to give the bank $21,000 in interest to do it?
Not at all.
Okay, now I know what you wanted to say, but I'm glad you said what you said. Because, I mean, we got kids out here. All right. So let me ask you. So if you know you were supposed to pay $5,199 in 1 year, do you have to pay it in 12 monthly installments?
No.
If you had it, could you give it to the bank on line one?
Yes.
They would have to subtract that from what you owe, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
From what you owe, if you subtract 5,100, listen, for folks that don't really believe me, I'm going to put $386,000 in my calculator. Okay. I'm going to put that on the screen. Got to bring this over where people can see it. Okay. So we're going to put $386,000 in the calculator, and we're going to subtract exactly $5,199.82. Okay. And that equals $380,800.18. Exactly what we have here on line 12. So folks, you can choose how you give that money to the bank. You can choose to give it to them according to their own timing and give them $1,700 each month, or you can figure out what to pay so you can skip some of these interest payments. But I'm just picking this number out of the air, okay? $5,199.82. So if we pay that all at once, we're paid down to line 12 in just 1 month. What happens to all the interest payments between line 2 and line 12, folks?
They're gone.
They're gone. You just saved $19,352.85 in interest you did not have to pay. See, here's what we're talking about. You're gaining equity, $5,000 worth of equity in 1 year. $5,000 in equity in 1 year, but it costs $21,100 to get it. That's what hasn't been pointed out to us before. I got the equity, but it cost me 21 grand to get it. Now I can get the same amount of equity, but I don't have to pay $21,000 for it. I can pay $1,769.17 for it, the amount of interest I would pay on line one. How about that? Has anybody ever pointed that out to you in life?
No.
How do you feel about this right now?
From what you're telling me, I'm feeling good about it.
Okay. Do you have anything to ask or add to this before I tell you why this is better than 2.99?
So instead of paying, like, say, first, make the initial monthly payment, then in the middle of the month, and pay the 4 and change, whatever. What if I was to double up on that? That still knocks it down faster, right?
Actually, when people pay that, like a biweekly payment, all of my clients end their biweekly payments.
Oh, okay.
No, you don't need to. Because the thing is, you want to pay the right amount of money for you in the right month. We're not even going to pay extra every single month.
Oh, okay.
Only at strategic times during the year. And I give you an
So that is a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you see how you said that if we paid the $5,199.82, within the first month, and we come out saving over, $20,000 in interest. So every year, so like on that second year, would we have to pay $10,692, and then, the third year, $15,000 or so, depending on what the calculator is?
There you go. See, here's what we're talking about. We're going to look at your particular budget and figure out how much you would pay. This is why I'm telling people, by watching these videos, they think that this is going to be good advice for everybody. No.
Gotcha.
We just want to find out how much Lolita and Barry have left over each month. The program is going to ask you to put that into your savings account. And then at the right time, the program is going to read your savings account, says, okay, here's how much we have in savings because you told us. For Lolita and Barry, now in month 3 or month 4, whatever, let's take some of that money out of savings and apply it to the debt so you can save the most amount per dollar. Now, what does that mean? Let me show you what that means. Okay.
Okay.
So do you have a calculator handy?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to show you on a calculator what this means. So if we prepay the $5,199, if we prepay that, we're going to knock off 12 payments and save a lot of money, correct?
Yes.
Let's say we have plenty of money in the bank. And you mentioned, because you're getting ahead of the game here, what if we prepay line 24, the $10,692? Okay, so if you have plenty of money in the bank, which one would you choose? Prepay line 12 or prepay line 24?
And logistically, line 24, it seems like that's what you would do.
It seems like that. So let's take a look at it. Remember, now we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, let me ask you a quick question. Do you guys like grapes?
Yes.
If grapes are $10 a pound this week, are you buying grapes?
No.
No.
We will not.
You are not. Okay, no matter how much you like them, because you're
Correct.
paying attention to how much you're paying, how much you're getting per dollar. How many grapes am I getting per dollar? I can get like 5 grapes for $1.
Right.
Okay, I'm not doing that.
Right.
So when we put our money down, you want to know how much interest you're saving per dollar. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's take the $21,000. Let's put that in your calculator. $21,100.22. And we're going to divide that by the amount of principal we could pay on line 12. Okay. So we're on line 12. So we're going to divide that by $5,199.82. It comes to $4.05. So we just found out for every dollar I put on here, I can save $4.05 in interest. Wow. What if I only had $1? Would it be worth it just to put the $1 extra?
Yes.
Well, yes. Well, let me ask it this way. If you gave me $1 and I gave you back $4.05, how many times would you all do that?
As many times as you like.
Okay. The bank has to do the same thing. So it doesn't matter if you have $1 or $4 or $400. You want to know how much interest I'm saving every time I give you guys $1.
Okay.
You got it?
Okay.
So now let's do line 12. So we're at $4.05. All right. Let's do line 24. Okay. So we're going to do the 41,000. I'm going to clear this out. We're going to do the 41,907.12. We're going to divide that by 10,692.96. All right. So, I go from $4.05 for every dollar down to $3.91. So if I can save $4.05 per dollar, should I ever accept $3.91 per dollar?
No.
So it matters how much you pay and when you pay it, doesn't it?
Okay.
You know how I really know that you don't want to accept less? You know how I really know? Because if there are 2 gas stations on a corner that you like and you need gas, which gas station are you going to if there are 2 gas stations on the corner?
The one that even just saves me 2 cents less. Yes, sir.
I love that. Even if it saves you 2 cents. So listen, we need to have the same type of attitude towards our mortgages and our student loans and our credit cards and our car loans. If only somebody else would do the math for us. Folks, does this make sense to you?
It's mind blowing, yes.
Wow, wow, wow. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L.L Method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. One of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to PILLmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today.